Well, hey there, welcome back to Recanto Da Alvorada. We're March, and I've done a lot since the last episode. Got all the fields planted. Let's take a look at the menu here real quick. And I'll show you all the fields now have been replanted. And you see we've gotten one big giant field over here now. I combined those fields. We've got this replanted, this field replanted. And so everything is looking really good. And if we go over to our fertilizing, we have fertilized everything, but we're going to have to make another coat as things start growing. But the problem we have is some weeds. We've got a whole lot of weeds, and we need to do something with it. So on the last episode, I ended up buying some lime. Well, we ended up having too much, but that's okay. We may need it at some point in the future. So we're going to leave this down here. At least for now, we have a bunch back down at the farm that we need to do something with. But what I need to do today is we need to buy a pallet fork. So let's go ahead and get that for the front loader. Let's see, front loader tools. We're just going to get a standard pallet fork. Actually, that one may work pretty good right there. Looks good. So let's buy that. And then, as a matter of fact, I need a sprayer. And I got to looking through the used vehicle section, and we had the Jacktow sprayer. It's here in the used vehicle section. Wasn't going to go with this one. I'm actually going to go with the smaller one. But hey, let's give it a shot. So there's $52,000 there, and we already have the herbicide down at the farm. So I've got the little Valtra tractor down here, loud Valtra. I'm going to back away from the tractor here just a bit. You know, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can do something here in the settings. Can you change the vehicle volume? Let's bump that down just a bit. That'll help out. This thing's a little bit loud. Alright, so we got the pallet forks hooked up. You know, I'm going to bump that down just one more. It's just still a little bit too loud. So pallet forks are hooked up, and then we'll hook up to the sprayer and head back down and get that filled up. And then we can get to spraying. Now the sprayer may be just a little bit big for this tractor, but I think we can manage. We can always swap it over when we get back to it. Oh my goodness, that curbing is it's going to get me every time. Let's go to in-cab view here. Let's drive this way. So yeah, we've got all the fields planted. That took a long time, and we ended up making quite a bit of money off of all those trees that we chipped up and took off to sell. I was actually really surprised how much money we made from that activity. So as you saw, we were there about $90-something thousand, and so we had done really good. We do have a lot of sugar that we need to sell, but it's still not the best time to sell it, so I'm trying to hold on to it until that is the case. The other thing is we ended up using quite a bit of the cane that we had stored in our silo to plant the fields. I just used that. There's a couple bags of seed we had laying around. Used that as well. There was not much in those bags. And then we used the cane out of the silo to fill up the seeder or the planter and get the fields planted. So we did tap into some of the quantity that we had there stored in the silo. But that's okay. We didn't have to buy any, so it worked out. We are starting to work through what we had placed into the sugar mill. Now, I don't know if that's going to last us through till the next harvest. When we get up here, we'll take a look at it. Oh, and I did a little bit more landscaping. Cleared up around back here some more. Made a little driving road down here to the farm, or to the barn. And so that's working out pretty good. So if we take a look, we do have that lime that I dropped off over there. We had that spreader that we had leased. And then we have a little bit of lime over here beside this shed. So we need to get that moved out. We do have the shed here. It is supposed to have sugarcane in it, but it still doesn't show anything, which is weird to me. Let's go over here to our menu, and yeah, we still have 64,000 liters in there. As a matter of fact, we have a great demand on sugarcane right now, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to save it for the plant here, because you see we're starting to work through it pretty good. So we may end up having to put some more in it before we harvest, but I'm not real sure. So let's get around over here, and we have the pallets that I just left here when we unloaded them, because I didn't have a way to move them. But now that we have the forks there for the front loader, we can get things moved around and cleaned up around the farm. Looks like this thing is going to hold right around 3,000 liters. Yep, on the money. It looks a lot different with the trees gone and the little islands. The field looks a lot bigger. And these fields over here, just a lot more land that we have now. Kind of excited about the next harvest. I think we're going to make a whole bunch of money. But I do need to find a better way of doing things. I'm having to still do a lot of it manually. We can't use the helper other than harvesting. So we're going to work on that come time for the next harvest. But today, we're killing weeds. I have never used this sprayer, so this is the first time. And I'm hoping that this tractor, pulling the sprayer, let's back out a bit, doesn't damage the crop. I don't expect it will, but I'm hoping we don't get any slippage while we're pulling it. So far, it looks like we're doing pretty good. It's actually doing really good. This thing moves along. Wow. Why is this thing going so fast? Let's see. Let's stop here and look at the product information on it. Let's see. It goes 7 miles an hour. Huh. Well, that's why. I undoubtedly had turned on the speed control mod for some reason, and it was letting it run as fast as it could. Well, sorry about that. A little bit of error on my part. I was actually trying to close auto drive window down earlier, and I think I accidentally hit the wrong thing. Wrong commands, causing a little bit of mishap there. So 7 is a little bit better, more appropriate. Of course, I do like the way that other was getting through the field. As you can see, the field over here, we did end up coming down this way, and you see the trees and the division of the field over there. So that field, remember, had the cane that was withered, and so we plowed all that in, and it is now all one big field. So we really don't have that much to spray. We have 3 fields that we are supposed to spray today. It won't take a whole lot of time, and I really don't think that this episode is going to be as long as they have been, because once we get done with this, we really don't have a whole lot to do until the cane starts growing, which I think will happen in June. Well, let's see, April. We're in March, not May. So it should start growing in April. So we may actually be able to get some fertilizer out on the next month. Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad I went with this larger one. The smaller sprayer, I think, only has an 18-meter width. I think that's correct. This one's quite a bit larger at, what is it, 20? Yeah, 24. So, yeah, it'll just get it done quicker. Plus, the tank holds a lot more. We won't be having to refill as often. Maybe not even have to. By the time we get done with this field and the one behind us, both are relatively small fields. That one over there. Then we have the one larger field that's there in front of us. We may be able to do it all with one tank of herbicide. So far so good. We haven't had any slip on the tires, so I don't think we're doing any damage to the field, so that's really good. Alright, so we got our first pedaling pass around the field done. So now we'll just work on the inside of the field, try and get that done. In fact, I think I want to do one pass across right here. Now, one thing I didn't know, and I really hadn't done any testing, I think, well, you know what, why isn't it's not killing some of the weeds, and that's what I was concerned about. If the weeds grow and grow and grow and grow, is there a point where they won't die? Oh, I got it that time. That's weird. Huh. Because I was going to wait until the next month to do this, but I figured I'd better go ahead and do it as soon as possible. Also, the sprayer ended up in the used vehicle section, so that was kind of a trigger to go ahead with it as well. So while we're running along over here, let's go ahead and take a look. We do have quite a bit of sugar saved up in the factory, so let's quickly look at that. We have almost 25,000 liters, and there's some pallets sitting out there. If we look at the best time to sell it, where is the sugar? Did I pass it? Let's see. Let's get squared away here. Matter of fact, let's just stop for a second. Sugar, where is sugar? There it is. So the best time to sell is in July. So we're in March. So we have a few months to go. But I think we're going to try to save it up and try and make a big sell in July. So that should be interesting. And I'm not sure how that will pay back. It seems to be fairly profitable so far. So hopefully it does end up. We at least need to pay back the cost of the factory. Get that paid back, then we can kind of start seeing some profits come in from it. We also still have quite a bit of a loan that we need to pay back, so that is something we've got to work on. We've been making the interest payments on it, but we're going to start chiseling away at that loan. So, let me go ahead and finish this up. We'll get this field knocked out, and the other two, and we'll see where we go from there. May do some yard cleanup. We might move on to the next day. Alright, so I've moved on into April. Got the spraying done, so that is complete. But what we're going to do, we're going to buy something. We need something. We need a pressure washer. Got this steel pressure washer installed. We're just going to throw it in right there. Yeah, we need a pressure washer. All of our equipment is so dirty. So we're going to get this cleaned off here real quick. We'll get the sprayer put back under the shed. And then we're going to use the voucher again. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of fertilizing. And get that finished up. This should be all the fertilizing we end up needing to do until time to harvest. So I think I'm going to end up putting this under the shed here, inside the main bay. I just park it over here in the corner out of the way. And then we'll swing around on the other side of the shed and pick up the spreader. I thought about using the blue tractor, the CVT. But since we were using this one, decided to go ahead and just use it and give a chance to earn its keep here on the farm. Alright, so we have the spreader hooked up. As you can see, the sugar cane has indeed started growing. Ooh, there's a car. So let's see here. Let's hope that we don't do any damage to the crop. And oh my goodness, we actually did end up spinning a little bit there. Alright, looks like it settled down. So yeah, we are just going at it. Let's just, I'm going to put it on cruise here. Let's make sure that we are actually getting some fertilizer put down. Oh, that field doesn't need it. You've got to be kidding me. So what fields do we need to go to? The top field and those ones. Okay. So one over here. Should have checked that. Let's see. Yeah, we have a lot of sugarcane planted, a whole lot. This is going to be a huge harvest this go around. So actually this will end up being our third harvest on this playthrough. So that's exciting. Actually, I really didn't know how long this series would run. But we're still in the hole. We've got a whole bunch of debt still that we need to pay back, so I definitely want to get that done before we end. The whole point of this series was to kind of see if sugarcane is a profitable crop. And so far it seems to be, but it takes equipment to get a farm going and bigger equipment to do more work on more land. So we're growing this series and playthrough, but it still takes time. And the sugarcane, even though it is profitable, I don't know that it's not that profitable. Nothing spectacular, I don't think. But hopefully with the sugar production factory over there, this will end up going fairly well when we start being able to sell some of that. Alright, so I think we were doing good here getting the fertilizer spread. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, I'm actually in way too far. It's actually quite difficult to see where to apply the fertilizer in these fields, because when you harvest, it puts down that the ground covering texture from the discharge on the harvester, and so yeah, it makes it difficult. Can't tell where you've been. So I'm gonna have a lot of overlap here. Ooh, a whole lot of overlap. But we'll get this done. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're going to finish up the fertilizing. We'll get the yard cleaned up, get the equipment cleaned off, and then I believe that the next time that we will be together will be probably in July. And it's time to sell some of the sugar. I think that'll be a good time to have the next episode, because since we are only working with the sugar cane, there's just not a whole lot to do. We are just growing. The weeds have been sprayed, and now once this fertilizer has been applied, there'll be absolutely nothing to do until time to harvest again. So kind of nice in that aspect, but because we are not very diversified on this playthrough, we do have a lot of downtime between activities. So anyhow, we're going to call it there. We'll see you next time. Hope you have a great day, and thanks so much for your support. Please don't forget to click that thumbs up button, like the video, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that button as well. Thanks again, and we'll see you very soon.